Morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to our live training of eIMMIGRATION. My name is Vanessa Vargas on behalf of Cerenade. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to talk about case management tools. And this video or this training, sorry, is recorded. It's being recorded. I'm a live person. um, it's Friday. Anyway, so we record our live sessions and we have a YouTube channel. If you haven't done so, please go to youtube.com and search for Serenade Academy. This is where you can watch the previous sessions where you can learn more about e-immigration. I see that the majority of you are new users. I want you to know that today we are not covering basic training, but we just did that. I think that was last week. We also did this a month ago. So if you're new and you want to take a basic training for new users, we have videos available for you. And those are, again, the live webinars that we do every Friday, but we also offer um, private trainings if you guys want to go at your own pace. Okay. Now, this PowerPoint presentation that I'm sharing with you today, you can download it. If you go to the go to webinar panel, you should see handouts. And so click there, handouts, and download the PowerPoint. Just because I put links that you can click on later on, or you can share with your team members if they are not able to join today. All right, well, let's get started. I see a couple of questions. No volume. Can you guys hear me? Someone's saying no volume. Please check your speakers. Yes, perfect. Okay, so the majority of you can hear me. It's probably the user that is having an issue. Okay, thank you for confirming that. Where you chatted me, you can send me your questions throughout the webinar, okay? All right, well, again, I know the majority of you are new. I want you to know that we do have kind of like the basic steps, which I'm not going to cover today, but I'm just going to mention them. You need to create a contact first. Then you need to link the family members. Let me open a contact so I can show you really quick. So when you create the contact and you enter data for the client, the second step would be for you to link the family members as well. And then the third step for you to create the actual matter or case, and that's what we're going to learn today. We're going to talk about how to create a case once you have the contact ready for your client. Now, somebody asked me the other day, it doesn't matter if I send the questionnaire before or after I create the case. Honestly, it doesn't matter as long as you send it. I think the most difficult part is for them to comply and actually enter data and send it back, or as long as you send it and you approve or accept it, then the information will auto-populate on the different fields. And then from there, once you open or go back to the case and reopen a form, then it will transfer, unless your form is locked. But yeah, so creating a client or contact is recommended to do it first, and linking the members, because that way you're organized and you know who's related, like the children or spouse or joint sponsor. If anyone, let's say the daughter is the one translating, so she can be named as the interpreter when you create the case. So it's important that you link them as members. That's why. Anyways, when you create the case, you're gonna go to create case. And if this person has different matters, we do have clients that are, let's say, nonprofits and they offer social services. So you can have one entity or one client with more than one matter or process. And this is our testing site, so please don't mind. Obviously, there doesn't make any sense to have this many adjustment of statuses. But yeah, this is kind of like the dashboard where you can see the timeline, from adjustment or naturalization, so you can see the different processes. Now, we have a shortcut where you can click where it says select load more data if you want to save time and go straight to open a form or access any of these quick links. Okay, I'm going to show you, and for those that are new, how to create the case. You're going to click here, create case. Now we have a new feature called required fields where you can make these mandatory. as you can see on this first screen, I only have the case number, which is being auto-generated, and the department, which is the location. All of these drop-down menus that you see can be customized. If you haven't done it, I highly recommend you do, but you need to have access to the administrator portal, and the administrator portal allows you to customize, I'll say 90% of the system. In fact, as you can see, I have mine in like English and Spanish, or I have more than just immigration. You can use the system for that. And the system is not just for forms. We're going to show you today how you can work efficiently and be organized by using all these tools like reminders, reports, etc. All right, so I'm going to pick the program type, if this was a grant, or again, you can customize all these options right here in case you don't want to use it for grants. If there are any required fields such as an application date or any jurisdiction details for court cases, you can customize that, remember, from the administrator portal. What I'm using here, it's called Case Wizard. Every time that you create a case, you have to go through this Case Wizard. This step 3, where I select the case worker, this is where I can add my paralegals, I can add my, I don't know, administrator or an interpreter, you name it, but you have, whoever has this box checked, it means that their data or information will transfer to the forms. If you need to delegate throughout the case and you need to assign a step, make sure that you link them too. So you can go back and select, let's say, I need Kevin's help with, maybe billing information or something. I can link him so I can delegate a step. And we're going to talk about the process steps. Okay, I'm going to click next. Step 4 is where you select the case role. I briefly mentioned that you need to link the members because they are, even though they're not clients, they are required on forms, but this is different. This is where you assign a role, such as petitioner, or like I said, maybe the son is going to be translating, so I can select him as the interpreter, or I have a derivative. And for the beneficiary, we recommend that you select alien. It's just because the forms expect that role and it's just faster. But if you want to select beneficiary, that's okay. You just have to use the party on demand button, the red select button. I'm going to click next, and then I see the forms checklist. Now, if you see a form that you don't need, you can always delete it, or you can always add a form on the spot. So if I type the number, I can just click and add, or I can remove it. Then click create. That's how you create a case. Now let me explain the difference because a lot of people sometimes get confused. You have a contact. If you click here on the left, this is where you search the contact. That contact could be a prospect. So I don't necessarily have a matter or a case yet. And you have a contact profile with all the basic information, the general info, history, background, biographic information. So you have all the different sections that you want to that you want to complete, either you or the client. But yeah, this is the contact profile. You can always check on the top left where it says home, clients, biographic info. This is kind of like your GPS where you know where in the system, what exactly are you at. So if I switch to a different section, it's going to modify this information. If I go to cases, either from here on the right from the menu or on the left, I can search an actual case or matter. Sometimes it's better to go this route because I can just type the number. Oops, that's definitely not the number. I mean, I'm telling you it's Friday. That's not the name. Um, so yeah, I can see the cases that have at least that reference, that name. Okay. All right. The other thing that we have for you to save time is on your home screen, you have these shortcuts. You have the recently updated cases, which is the one that I just created. And I see also recently updated clients, or I can look at process steps or cases by process type. If you notice, we also have quick links that you can access if you want to go straight to any of these sections or features. Okay, whatever helps you. Um, Sometimes people rather use like a report. Let me remove this. Okay, so let's go back to the case. Now that I explained the difference between contact and case profiles, when you create a case and you want to access the contact, you can easily just click on the link right here, and it's going to take you to a different tab where you can go back and forth from the contact profile to the case window. Usually, we recommend this when working with forms because if you don't have a piece of information like a field is blank, you can just switch back, enter it here in the database, and then save it and go back to the form and refresh so that you don't have to keep typing the same information over and over again. Now let's talk about logs, those notes that you need to capture. If your notes are related to the case as this adjustment of status, then I can add a comment here. So let's say my comment is regarding court related or I don't know, like a biographic info or anything. But I mean, biometrics appointment. I mean, you see these options right here. You can customize them in the administrative portal. If you haven't done it yet, let me quickly show you where. If you notice on the top right, you're going to see settings and it says administrative tools. I always recommend that you right click and open in a new tab so you can access the admin also in a separate tab. When you go to the admin, by the way, it's going to say admin on the top left. The administrative portal allows you, like I said, to customize the system. So under the types section, you'll see comment types. So if I want to add something regarding, you know, like a note related to the biometrics appointment, I can just add the type of log or a different category. You can also click and drag and rearrange these. Okay. All right. So now that we know that, let's go back and refresh the screen. And I'm going to add my note. And I didn't rearrange it. It's all the way at the bottom. So it's biometrics appointment related, client call to say they received details for appointment. So now that I have my note, if I want to share with a client, then I can click. If not, don't click on the boxes and it stays internal. So I'm going to save and close. Sometimes there are notes that you want to share with them. Oh, I see that someone is messaging me a question. I'll read it in a moment. So you can share with the client if you want. You can select and share with the client, or sometimes you want to email the client, and that message that you typed as a log will be sent as a PDF. Let me read this question. Can you please confirm if we can edit dates for comments? No, you can't modify. The creation date is for auditing purposes. What you can do is, for example, here, I can use these brackets maybe and say log entered or log, I don't know, like received, because there's no way for you to change. Let's say maybe this was on the 17th. That's the only thing that you can do. If it's a comment related to an update received from the client yesterday, how would I adjust the date to yesterday's date? Yeah, that's the only way. I will just use this because we have creation date or update date. We do have something similar to expenses, where if I add expenses, I can modify the actual expense date, but not for logs. I can definitely pass your feedback to developers. All right, so pin logs. See if here there's a little icon where I can click on and I can pin the note so that no matter how many notes I have, this one will stay on the top of all the other notes. Is there a way to see other attendees' questions in real time? No, um, no, I'll be sharing with you. I'm trying to multitask and present and read. That's why I have two screens. Okay, and that's a feature for GoToWebinar, but that would be great, like a live feed on top. Imagine, I mean, they can barely sometimes what I can see is if someone's not paying attention because they can click on a different screen, that I can see. I don't see your screen, but please read them out slower. Oh, okay. So the question was, can you please confirm if we can edit dates for comments? So the answer is no. Okay. All right. So you can pin them or unpin them by clicking here on the left. Mhm. And you can also go to the contact profile and you can click on logs. These are all the notes because you can see not just the notes at the contact level, but if you scroll down, you can click here to see the case related notes or comments. Okay, you can access both. And it tells you the case number, what type of case, case comment, and then the actual note. You may also see who updated the comment. All right. Next is how to create a reminder at the case. You can also create, but since we're talking about case management tools, we're going to click on reminders, and then I can add the reminder here. Remember, you can customize these categories. So let's say we want to prepare the client for the interview appointment, and that preparation will be next week on Wednesday, but I want them to receive an email or text message or both, maybe on Tuesday, a day before, and I want to select the time at 9 a.m. Whoever is responsible will get that text message or email. You can CC the client. Now that I remember, you can't send a text message to the client, but you can send them an email for these type of reminders. So I'm going to click on these three dots. I'm going to select the client, click done, and then my message. Uh, of course, I have all caps. Let's scream them. Tomorrow is your appointment. Excuse me. Okay, so you get the idea. So we now have a reminder that we schedule for to be sent to the person responsible and the client. Every time that you guys create a reminder, we're going to talk about the tickler where you can see not just your reminders, but everyone's reminders. And we're also going to show you reports where you can see reminders by responsible. If you add an appointment, you can go to the case directly or the contact profile and click on appointments. This is where you can add your appointments as well. Instead of going to the calendar, I can select whose calendar. If I see Benita, Ray, and Kevin's calendar, it means that they have shared their calendar with me. So if I select Benita's calendar and I can, let's say interview appointment, these are also customizable. Okay. So when you add the appointment, let me just pick the correct date. And the time. Okay, now that we have this, I'll call it test. You can link it to a client if you want this to be reflective. Right now, as you can see, it's already linked to the case because I created the appointment from the case profile. I'm just going to save it. If you don't do that, if you go straight to the calendar and you add an appointment, then you would have to search for the case to link it. So this is kind of like a shortcut. Now, if I go to the appointments, I'll see that appointment here for Benita's calendar. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions. Right now, we're going to learn the process steps and how you can create process steps, kind of like a milestone and or a to-do list, how you have like a workflow of the case and how you can schedule activities So I'm going to play those two videos and let me know if you have any questions, okay? Let me move this over here and you can adjust your volume. Make sure that you use Chrome if you're a Mac user. Does the calendar update Google Calendar or Outlook? Yes. Yes, we do. The question was if the calendar update or syncs with Google or Outlook calendars.
Hello, and welcome to our Cerenade video. In this video, we'll go over process steps. With process steps, you can itemize exact steps you take on a case, add a time frame for each step, and delegate it to a caseworker assigned to the case. This will help you and your staff accomplish finishing tasks for a case within your desired time frame. To access process steps, you must go into a case. Let us search for an already created case. From within the case profile, you will see the Process Steps tabs on the right, and click on it. You are now in the area to create and work on process steps. You should see some default process steps here if you selected a case process when creating the case. If not, we will show you how to add process steps. Let us view our already created process steps and modify them. By clicking Modify Process Steps, we can now do things like set a start date, add a time frame if one hasn't been added, and assign a step to a caseworker. The first thing to do is assign a process step. To the right, you will see a drop-down list of caseworkers. If clicked, it will list all caseworkers assigned to this case. You will go one by one assigning each step to an assigned caseworker. Once you've assigned steps, you can now focus on the time frame. You can dictate how long each step should take. Proceed to add time frames. Now that you've added those two things, you can now start your process steps by selecting a start date on the first step. If you added a time frame, you will notice that it will also list a target date. This is triggered by the checkbox up top that allows the software to auto-calculate the target date. This target date is crucial for two things. One, if you have the auto email checkbox checked next to it, that caseworker will receive an email that morning notifying them about the process step. And two, process steps can be seen in your tickler. It will monitor those target dates and notify you about the approaching date. Once you or the respective caseworker has completed the task, they will come back here, mark it as complete, and once completed, you will notice it will proceed to set the start date for the next process step. Essentially, you and your staff will perform the process steps until completing all steps necessary for this case. When completing or changing a process step, make sure to click Save Changes up top. Now that we have seen how process steps can help you perform tasks, let us see how we can create process steps. The first option is creating them in the case you are working on. If going back to the process steps, you will see a Add Process Step button. With this, you can create a single one or add a predefined list. Let us first focus on adding a single one. A pop-up will appear where you can enter a description. You have the options of adding a start date, target date, and so on, but are not necessary. And you can even assign to a caseworker from here. Once you've added your desired process step, you will finalize by clicking Save. Your process step has been created and will appear at the end of the list. If you wish to change its order, you can click on the up and down arrows, or click the Move To button. By doing so, a pop-up box will appear asking you which number you'd like to send it to. If entering 2, for example, the process step is now the second item on the list. What we see here is manually creating process steps on the go, but what if you have a set list for the type of case you are doing? You can create default process steps in the admin tools, and every time you select a type of case, your process steps will be listed. To modify this, go to your admin tools by clicking on the gears icon on the top right and clicking on Administrative Tools. From the Admin Tools page, go to the Case Processes section. And once inside, locate the type of case you wish to modify. You will see the Process Steps icon and click on it. You are now in the area to create default process steps and will modify similarly to how you modified them in the case profile. Once you've customized your list here, the next time you create a case and select this case process, your process steps will be automatically listed. Additionally, if you're already working on a case and wish to import this list to that case, going back to Process Steps area, you will once again click on Add Process Steps. This time, you can select Add a Predefined List. You will be asked to locate the case process and you will select the list you just modified in the admin tools. Once you select the case process and select Add, the list will be imported to this case. This concludes our video on process steps.
So I highly recommend that you guys use these process steps to delegate to, and also for a new user, it is kind of like their cheat sheet, right? They know exactly what they need to do for the way that you guys work, what's next, what is the task. And also on the right hand side will be the person responsible for that actual task. As a supervisor also allows you to run a report to see what's been done, what's coming soon, or what's overdue. If something is overdue, let's say this was due by the 15th, when I save this, it's going to be in red. And so I can easily just glance at the timeline and see, okay, we missed this, or I can reassign it to someone else. If something is complete, now you can just click on the completed box and it moves to the next one. Okay, so make sure that you use the process steps. Now let's learn about activities. Activities allows you to pre-program actions in advance and by default so that you don't have to that you don't have to do it manually. Let me see, there's a question. Can the process steps be seen by the client so they don't have to keep asking us? That's a great question. If you do have custom reports, I recommend that you create a report and you share with the client. Let me show you a quick example. I can be the employer and you create that report that shows the timeline of what's been done, what's next. Well, if I go to my reports as the client, I can see the report. Let me see if I have shared this one because you can share specific reports with the client or not. This is not the one case. Well, it shows the case status change, but let me go back to the profile for that client. So this is a business client. I have to go under client access. And if you do have reports, like I said, go to the admin and create the report. And then it's going to be here if you decided to share with clients. Then once you create the report and select access to client, then you have to enable it here. I believe I had one for those process steps. Just bear with me. I think I called it updates. But then I would still have to create the report. That's the thing. We don't know what exactly you want to share. So that's the reason why we have custom reports. And you just go into the administrator portal. If you do have custom reports, then you can modify it here. And you select, okay, I only want to show them whatever it's been completed, not something that it's overdue, for example. So, I mean, like I said, you would have to create the report depending on what you want to share, and then have them log in into their client portal. I think this is the update report. And this one, for example, what I'm sharing is not the checklist step by step. It's just the last modified comment related to a specific category. So that might be also a good report to offer instead of the entire line or workflow. It really depends on what you want to share with them, but custom reports will be the answer. Yes. All right, so the next item will be activities. Let me share with you that, and then let me know if you have any questions.
Hello, and welcome to our eIMMIGRATION video. In this video, we will show you how to use a new feature called Activities. With Activities, you can trigger a set of actions when working with process steps or to the case profile itself. The activities automate functions that you typically would do working on a case. Let us review the different things you can do. From within the caseworker portal, we will go into the case profile. Once inside the case profile, you will notice a new tab titled Activities, located on the bottom right. Let us click on it. From here, we will click on Add Activity. A pop-up will appear asking you to set the activity. In other words, what would you like eIMMIGRATION to do? The first thing we want to do is select the initial action that will prompt a reaction by the system. We will see the On drop-down menu with two options, Case Closed and Case Archived. We will select one of them. Then we will select the Do drop-down menu and see Add Case Comment, Add Expense, Send Email, or Send Questionnaire. By selecting the On and Do, once a case is closed, for example, it will prompt the system to do whatever was selected in the Do section, such as add a case comment. Or maybe you want to set an activity that emails a client when you archive a case. By setting activities, it automates actions when closing a case or archiving a case. Need a specific message to be logged? Select Add Case Comment and proceed to put the message. Need to gather a set of expenses to bill your client? Proceed to add expenses. Need an email to be sent out? Select an email and have a message typed out. And finally, need to send questionnaires? Select questionnaires you want your client to receive. Once saved, you will see all your created activities. From here, you can always edit the activity, delete it, and you can even run the activity without having to actually close or archive the case. Also, once an activity is completed, you can always rerun the activity by clicking on the Rerun button, prompting the system to perform the activity. By adding all activities you'd like to see, when you close or archive a case, it will prompt a sequence of events created in this Activities section. Now, these activities not only appear here, but also appear on individual process steps. If we go into the process steps of a case profile, you will see a button titled Activities within each process step. When we click on it, you will see a similar pop-up box as we saw in the Activities tab previously. When selecting the On drop-down menu, you will see specific times pertaining to an individual process step. The options are when a process step has started, when a process step has been completed, when a process step reaches its target date, X days after start date, X days before target date, X days after target date, and X days after completed date. If you select anything starting with an X, it will require you to enter the number of days on the section titled Event Time Interval, meaning how many days before or after you like to see this activity take place. The Do section will have similar selections as we saw earlier in the activities. You can create a specific comment in the logs, add set expenses to be billed, compose an email that will be sent, or send questionnaires to a specific client. Once finalized creating, click on Save. You will see the same Edit button, Delete button, Run button, and when completed, a Rerun button will appear to make the system rerun the activity. You can create as many activities as you'd like per process step. Before we end this video, please note that you can make default process step activities in the Admin Tools page. This way, every time you select a case, your process step activities are already set. If in the admin page, go to your case processes. From here, select the case you want to apply a process step activity and click on the process steps. Before you add activities, you may want to finalize and customize your process steps. Below in the descriptions is a link to a video showing you how to customize. Using what we previously learned on this video, we will go into a single process step and select the activity buttons. Just as before, we will click on the plus button, and we will be brought to create the process step activity. Once you have modified your process step activities here, anytime you select this case, the software will automatically list your process steps, as well as activities associated with them. As you can see, adding activities will automate functions and make tasks easier for you. This concludes our video on activities at the case.
All right, so while the video was playing, I was able to create a quick report under the admin for the workflow just to show you I am back on the client portal, and I call it case workflow status. Like I said, you can create any type of report. You have to be subscribed to this module. And what I did, I'm giving the client the option to either search by number or the employee. So if I select the employee, let's say first name, I can narrow down my search, or I can just go by case numbers. Let's say that I want to select this one only, and it's going to give me, sorry, okay, it's going to give me the process steps for this case and when the date has been completed, or if something is pending, they'll see that as well. So this might be the one that you were looking for. That way they don't have to call you and ask you what's next, what's going on with my case, what's been, the status. All right. So the other thing that I will share with you as far as like clients and the client portal is that if you are subscribed to the Times Tracker module, you can share the receipt notice with them. So if they click on share documents and they scroll down to where it says receipts, right here, case USCS receipts, you can let them click on, or even the file, the actual JPEG, PDF, whatever you have, but they can click on this link and it's going to take them to the USCS website. Well, not directly to the website, but they'll see the status here. We pull the data from there and they'll see it here. So that's also another feature that you can utilize to save time and have them log in into the portal instead of calling you. All right, so one thing that I want to show you today, it's called Tickler. The tickler is a general, let me close all these windows. So the tickler is located here under the tools, and you go to tickler, and this is a general dashboard. This can be customized if you want to create your own layout or if you want to use a default one. And this tickler shows you the reminders, process steps, new cases per month, expiration dates, you name it. Now, if I want to see the data for everyone in the law firm organization, I can click here on the left on the top where it says show data for all caseworkers. And this allows me to kind of review. I always say this kind of like, and it's an x-ray of the law firm. So you see the reminders that we have pending in the next 30 days. We have 5. Let's see. And these are the case reminders. It tells me who the person who's responsible for this and when they need to do it. So it looks like Araceli needs to notify the client of status, or I need to prepare for the biometrics appointment check, etc. So this is the tickler, and if any of these have been done, let's say we want to mark these and modify, I can complete it from here. Araceli did complete this task, or this reminder is no longer needed, I can just take it off the list. I don't have to go to the case, I can just modify. Or let's say we are going to postpone this interview preparation appointment until the 31st. So I will change the date and I'm going to modify the due date, not the completion date. And we're going to postpone it until maybe the 3rd. And I can modify more than one at the same time. Let me just click apply. All right, so now my due date is on, it's actually not in the next, oh yeah, it's right here. It is within the next 30 days. You can change the time frames. If you click on the top right, go to settings, click on user preferences, and then go to tickler. From here, you can change your settings. So maybe you want the reminders to be 0 to 5 days or 10 days. You can change those, as well as the chart type and the layout. Maybe you don't want to see the case by process type, or you want to add something else. So that is the tickler where you can see everything that's going on. Same thing for expiration dates. If I want to see any RFEs, I-94s, passports, you can also track those expiration dates a lot quicker. You can click on the overdue, for example, and it's going to tell you the type of document, court hearings, 797, fingerprint appointment, hearings. So you can see the type. This is customizable, by the way. When I say customizable, remember you need to go in the admin portal and then it's right here, custom document types. So if you want to track more than just a passport or I-94, or you can just add to that list. Okay, so that is the tickler. Let's move on to the next portion. How about gathering documents? Well, the best approach is number one, since I'm here, in the admin, you can customize the checklist by process type. If I go to case processes and I want to customize the documents checklist for citizenship or naturalization, I just click on this search and I can put together a checklist. As you can see, I like to provide the translation or be specific, like I only want PDFs. And so that way I don't have to re-explain this over and over again, or I just need 5 years of the last 5 years of your proof of addresses. And when you have a checklist, let's go back to the caseworker portal. I'm accessing the case. You can click on the link or you can use the load more data so that you go straight to documents. Here we are, we're in the case window. I went to documents and I see the checklist. Well, if I want the client to upload from her client portal, I can select them and share with her, share with my client. I just have to select her name or both, depending on maybe the employer has to upload some. And when you click next, there's an option for you to notify the client via email. So maybe I want to let her know, hey, we want you to upload these files, or we are sharing some documents with you. Please access your portal and here's a link. Remember, you can customize the letter templates so that instead of using the default message, you can be more specific with a case number or her name. Um, so you can customize these letter templates from the administrator portal as well. Let me close this. What happens next is when your client logs in into her client portal, let me log in as her. What's going on? I probably changed the username. Give me just one quick second. This is actually a good parenthesis. When client cannot log in and they call you to troubleshoot, go to their contact profile, click on the menu at the all the way at the bottom where it says client access. And of course, that's not the right username. Let me use this and then change the password to 1234, something easy to remember. I'll update. Someone has that username already. Okay, here we go. You could send the client an email with her credentials if needed. Okay, we're in. When the client logs in and they click on share documents, they'll see the checklist that you share with them. Okay, so here are the client related or user defined documents, any passports, I-94, or case related documents, which is the checklist that I shared. I need your I-94, I need your marriage certificate. So they will click on upload a document. If you notice, by the way, if this was an employer or HR manager, they can filter as well. They can filter by client or employees information or specific document. For example, I only want to see passport information. So I can filter anything that has passport either here or the actual file. So it's faster for them to locate the passport. Okay, so you do have the filter available here. And for your clients, it's actually easier for them to upload the documents instead of driving to your office. And also for you, it's easier because once they do that, all those files that they upload are going to be listed here where it says file, and then you'll see, okay, the birth certificate is here, or I got the marriage certificate or passport, and you can easily run a report to see which clients are still pending to upload which documents. That's another reason why we encourage you to use custom reports as well, because you can easily schedule a report that will show you how many clients did upload or are still pending to upload which files. Okay, so that's how you can share the documents checklist with the client. And if you have a file, you can also share the actual file like a contract or a copy of their agreement. I did mention the USCIS Visa Bulletin Times Tracker, but just so you know, it's right here. Immigrant visas, notices. So you can, if you are subscribed to Times Tracker, we will email you once the petition becomes current and it's eligible for processing. All you need to do is enter the information like I'm doing here, the classification, the type of form, um, all of it, filing center, and we auto-populate from the USCIS processing times table. And if you want to share with your client, all you need to do is again click her or his name, and that's it. And if you have the scan, the actual file, you can upload. And now when they click or you click, then we'll give you the recent status or any updates, which by the way, you can turn them into a log. You can copy that information and move that into a log. Okay, so letter templates. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm going to I'm going to switch to the admin because you need to have access to the administrator in order for you to click on letter templates. Letter templates are going to help you save so much time because instead of typing the same information on an email or a message, a cover letter, or motion or what have you, you are going to create one template and you're going to use these tags so that we auto-populate the information such as the date, the attorney's info, the client's info, case information, etc. Just to give you an idea, let me open an example of a cover letter or a documents checklist. Again, these are the tags that I am referring to: case number, social security number. So as long as you have the tag here, the system will locate the case number and auto-populate the letter template. To give you a better idea, I'm going to click on letters from the caseworker portal, and the same document, I think it was this one. And now I'm going to preview it. See how the cover letter or this document auto-populated with the social, the case number, the client's name. These are the tags. And for faster access, we do have under the tools, we have a feature called Tag Helper. So this Tag Helper can assist you finding what you need. For example, I want to find the tag for case number. So I'll just type the word number, case number, and it's right here. I can just click on this icon to copy the tag and then switch to the document and then paste it. That's it. And now we don't have to keep typing the case number on those documents. If you want, you can move that template that you created under the case process. So every time that you create a naturalization, you know exactly which forms you want to complete, steps to follow, the documents that you need to share or ask for the client to upload, and of course, like questionnaires that you want to send, and then the letters right here. If you have billing, then of course as well, which items we can include or we should include in the invoice. So this is case processes from the administrator portal. All right, let's go back to the case. I'm gonna close that. Assuming that we have worked on the forms and that we have our cover letters ready, we have the client uploaded all the files that they need, the evidence. Now it's time for us to put together the package, and we have something called document assembly. So the document assembly, again, it's another feature that's going to save you time. Let's watch the video and let me know if you have any questions.
Hello, and welcome to our Cerenade video. In this video, we will show you the document assembly. With this feature, you can now gather forms, letters, and documents and combine them into a single PDF. Let us log into the caseworker portal. We will then go to a case we are near completion. Let us locate a case profile. Once inside the case profile, you will notice a tab to the right called Document Assembly. Let us click on it. From here, we will now assemble a document by clicking on New. You will then be asked to name the document and click on Save Changes. Once you name it, you will now see an area to the left where you can choose forms, letters, and documents. You will proceed to select the forms, documents, and letters you wish to add by clicking on the checkbox to the left. Once you have those documents selected, you will click on the arrow, which will then place it on the table to the right. From here, you have a couple options. The first is you can add a custom page if you'd like. This is if you wish to add any last-minute pages on the document. Once you typed out your message here, you can click on Save Changes. Please note, if you wish to have similar custom pages for future forms, it would be better to create a letter template of this message as opposed to a custom page. That way, you can pull the message on every case. Below is a link on how to create letter templates. Once you have your desired forms and documents on here, you can then decide the order of these documents. To move an item, you can simply click on the item, drag it, and drop it in the order you wish. Besides dragging and dropping these items, you can also nest an item, meaning I can make an item be a subsection of another item. This will come in handy in a bit. If you need to delete things, you can click on the X button. If you need to add additional documents and forms, you can go back to the section to the left, locate the item, and click the arrow to the right. Lastly, if you wish to unnest a document, you can click on the Nest icon. Once I have the exact order, I can then proceed to add a table of contents. When adding a table of contents, a pop-up will appear with your items listed. You can proceed to add more text if you wish. On the page section, you do not need to change this, as the software will automatically list the page number when you receive the PDF. Additionally, if you remember, we nested some items to be a subsection of a bigger item. This will also reflect on the table of contents. Once you have your table of contents set, you can finalize by clicking Save Changes. If you need to make an edit again, on the table of contents, you can click the Edit button. Please note that if you make further changes to documents assembled, the table of contents will reset. We recommend adding the table of contents once you are done assembling. Our document has been assembled and we are ready to email this to ourselves. We will now click on the Email Document Assembly button. A pop-up will appear where we can enter a subject, select recipients of this email. You can decide to add a footer number at the bottom of each page and a footer caption. This will add a footer through every page of the document. Lastly, you can select a letter template to email or manually type out a message of the email. You will finalize by clicking Email. Once you do that, you will then receive an email with the PDF attachment. From here, you will download it to your computer, save it, and print it if need be. If you review the PDF, you will see the table of contents. You will see the page numbers have been added if you added the footer number, and you will see the PDF in the exact order you dictated earlier. If you ever need to come back to this document assembly, you can go back to the case, go back to the document assembly section. This time, you will click on the drop-down menu. It will gather previous document assemblies you've created. If you need to create a new one, you can click on New and repeat the steps learned on this video. This concludes.
So let me know if you have any questions about the document assembly. Someone asked me if it was optimal for, oops, I closed the window, for consular, let me go back to the questions. Give me 1 second. Is it really optimal to do document assembly for consular processing cases? Really, it's up to you. But if you're gonna e-file, maybe that's why you're to go through the document assembly seems unnecessary. Yeah, I mean, this is only if you're gonna file, like you need the package with the, cover letters and all the evidence. You're gonna file it. But if it's going to be e-file, what you can do is go to documents and select them here if you have the documents ready and download into a zip folder. That's what other clients do if they don't use the document assembly. They still go through the, um, e-file portal, if that's what you meant. So yeah, it's just a feature to save you time when putting together the package for filing it the traditional way. Although seems like USCIS is going that right? Like a lot of forms are now available for e-filing. If If you are not yet subscribed to that module, just for you guys reference, on our website, we have the features available, and one of them is e-filing. So we do have the DS-160, the DS-260, I-130, and 400. We have a lot of forms now available for e-filing purposes since we're there. Let me continue with the presentation. So the case and client overview, let's go back to the options right here. Case and client overview are on the top right. You'll see the green button. This case overview gives you, again, kind of like an x-ray, what type of case, when was this created, who's working on the case parties, the time that you spend on forms, all the notes or logs, reminders, everything, the documents, the letter templates, the USCIS receipt notices, process steps, and I like the fact that I can print it. So maybe by the end of the case, I can print this quick report with every single detail of the case. Or when a client calls you and they have questions about the case, instead of going to a different section, you just go to the case overview. The good news is that the client overview is customizable, so you can add exactly what you need to see, and you can, um, yeah, you can customize it and you can print it too. The other thing I want to show you, and we're almost done, is at the case level, under general info, you have shipments. Anytime that you ship something, let's say through UPS, FedEx, USPS, and you have the tracking number, maybe I'll just add here the description for package sent to USCIS or what have you. And let's say we shipped this last week. Well, when I click on the link for the tracking number, it's going to take me to that corresponding website, in this case, FedEx or UPS or USPS, so I can track my package a lot faster. Obviously, this is not a real tracking number, but you can also run reports based on this. So it's under general info, shipments. And then we also have under the tools on the left-hand side, we have a date calculator. So those little tools can help you save time. Again, um, during the case, if you want to calculate a date, you just enter the information and it's gonna calculate depending on the selection, of course. All right, so resources and support that you have. What happens when you have questions? Please contact us. You can call us Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, except on holidays. But you can also email us 24/7, or you can go to your website and click on technical support and send us a message. You may also send your feedback to developers. Um, the user's guide, I put the link right here as well. Don't forget to download my PowerPoint presentation. But the user's guide has a lot of videos and step-by-step instructions for you to follow. We do these free live trainings on Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We have a podcast. I put the link as well. And we have a Facebook forum page. Basically, it's just a private group where you can interact with other users. I think, what's going on? Oh, where can I download the presentation once again? Yeah, so click on handouts. Look for the GoToWebinar panel, and I guess where you see like your webcam, audio, attendees. Well, it's not the same as me because I'm the presenter, but I see the options and it says handouts, and then you can click to download the PowerPoint. Let me know if you can. If not, I'll email it to you. Like I said, if you haven't joined yet, go to Facebook. I put the link as well here, and this is where you can interact with other users. And please subscribe to our channel. Go to youtube.com, search Cerenade Academy, and make sure that you subscribe so that you get the notifications when we upload the videos like today. I also included these links because for those that are new, which are a lot of you, these are important links that you can click on and learn more. Someone asked me about Google Calendar or Outlook. Here they are. You can click on the links too. These are the questions that you guys sent prior. One was how to use the autofill for various family members. So create their contact profiles and link them as members. Then when you go to the case and you can, let me show you, because this is very important. What I'm talking about is here. So when you create a client profile, I said earlier to link them as members. So you'll see their names here. And then when you click on the names and you access their information or enter the information at the case level, when you click on case parties, you can have them linked. See, I have the alien or the derivative. Well, when you go to the forms, if you finish a form like the G28, you can click here where it says copy. If I need a G28 for Valeria, I can edit the description and I can identify the form easily by just selecting, let's say I have, I think his name is Jorge. Then just open the form and everything that you worked on will be the same, except on the section that you want to modify. You're going to see a select button. Click on the select button, and this is where you can replace and choose the other party. So now instead of Jorge, this is Valeria's G28, and that's it. You do the same thing for the derivative. So these select party buttons are going to be your best friends. They're going to save you so much time. Thank you for that question, by the way. Okay. How to customize e-intake forms. You need to access the admin portal. I included a link right here for you to watch a video, but we recommend that you actually copy and modify the ones that we already have in the system instead of starting from scratch. How to track RFPs and send to clients. From the contact profile, click on documents and go to user defined. Let me again quickly show you. You go to the contact, click on documents, and then on the left, it's going to say user defined. So this is where you can add the document and you'll see RFEs. So if you want, you can share with your client. I already have, I should have, yeah, let's say that I have this RFE and I want to share with a client. I simply select and click share with client so that she can see the actual file and information. And that's from the client profile, client portal. How to be more efficient in sending and using intake without multiple profiles for each other? This is such a great question because it happens sometimes that you send it at the same time. So the husband is entering the information for the wife. She's also doing the same thing, and you end up with 4 profiles. To avoid that, we suggest that you link them prior to sending the corresponding intake forms. Explain to them which ones, like this is your set of questionnaires. And when they access the questionnaire, they'll see the data that you sorry, that you had entered before. Excuse me. So send the petitioner's intake form first, and then once you approve them or accept them, then you can proceed to send the beneficiary's corresponding intake forms. That way, the beneficiary will see, okay, my wife has entered all this information, and all I need to do is work on my, I don't know, employment history or my education history. Okay, so that's how you can avoid creating multiple profiles. The last training that we'll have for this month will be efficient and time-saving tricks and shortcuts. Next Friday, please click to register. And let me know if you have any questions before you disconnect. You're going to get a survey. We do have a poll, and it should be showing on your screen. Here we go. If your questions were addressed during the webinar, please let me know. If not, you probably have questions you want to contact us for technical support. Also, please let us know. I have a poll in progress. Before you disconnect, do me a favor and just click to vote. Oh, you're welcome. I just saw your message. Thank you, and have a great weekend. All right, I got 50%. I'm happy with that. So let's continue. Like I said, on behalf of Cerenade, we thank you so much for your time. I really hope you learned something new today. Remember, this has been recorded. We have a video for this training available, maybe in the afternoon or tomorrow. But please subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you can get the notifications when the video is ready. Oh, thank you so much, Yumi. You're so cute. Uh, have a great weekend. Well, yes, we will have more sessions. Every month we have a session every Friday, actually, every Friday, and the topics vary. Actually, that's what topic would you like us to present for April? You can help me brainstorm what's important to you, or you can message us if you have something in mind. We try to keep them generic because we do have clients that are new. But if you have any specific topic or yeah, he can vote and let us know. But yeah, we will have trainings every Friday, unless it's a holiday. Thank you so much. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. And I'll be here if you guys have any other questions. But if you have to disconnect, again, thank you on behalf of Serenade and have a great weekend. Yes, the handout is the PowerPoint that I was using today. So you can click on handout and download it. Mhm. You're welcome. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. I'm going to end the session now.